All right.
Are we live?
Hi, welcome everybody to our live stream regarding the whole meetup and what we're looking to do in the future. So, anyone watching this, please put comments in there. We've got a wonderful Money Penny here, or AKA known as Stephanie, who's going to be monitoring all the messages, etc. We're looking for feedback. I want to challenge anyone that went to the meetup to give us one thing we could do better, so we can take that on board. And another area we want to discuss is obviously about mini meetups and all that. So let's talk about the panel first. So it doesn't really need introduction, but over to you, George.
Okay, my name is George. I am your 59-year-old carnivore friend, soon to be a 60-year-old carnivore friend from Bridgewater in Somerset in England, which is 17 miles from Southdown, where the mini meetup was. Sorry, no, the Great British Meetup. And yeah, I am a former type 2 diabetic. I used to weigh 21 stone. I now weigh 12 stone. For if we've got any American viewers, that's 293 pounds down to 170 odd. So yeah, that's my story. And it's been a 3.5-year journey to get here. And I decided that after a while that nobody was inviting me to any carnivore parties. So I decided we should have one. And this is the results, the Great British Meetup at Southdown last Saturday. So that's my story. So who's next, Carl?
Right, I'd like to go to the lovely Lauren.
Hi guys, so I'm Lauren. I won't go into my whole story, but carnivore saved me. Me along with George. Well, it was George's idea, but I found George, or George found me actually. How long ago was that, George?
October the 30th, 2023.
Yeah, there you go. George found me. George approached me via email because he'd seen one of my interviews on Dave Mack's channel. And he emailed me just to say hi and that he was a carnivore too. And in the beginning, we thought we were the only two in the world, didn't we, George?
Yes, yeah. And
Eventually, I ended up inviting George over to my house for dinner. We had a lovely lunch, and then the Great British Meetup was born.
And not last, but the most glamorous, Stephanie.
Hello, everyone. Great to be here. I'm Stephanie from Happy Sexy Health, and yeah, carnivore saved me as well. I'll keep it short and sweet for this one.
So I see there's a few of us in there, and I've noticed one person in the messages, good old Paul, for UK Carnivore Guy. He was one of the people that really got me to find out about the UK Carnival. So nice one, Paul. Enjoy the Premiership, because we'll be replacing it at the end of the season, hopefully. Sorry, Paul's a Sunderland fan. They've obviously replaced Ipswich. Premiership was too boring for us. So anyhow, so back to where we were. So I'd like to challenge anyone watching, if they'd like to tell us some feedback about the event and also give us one thing we could do better. Obviously, George, one of the areas you wanted to talk about was mini meetups, which people can now do from a community sort of sense. So do you want to go into a bit more detail regarding mini meetups?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, when we were there on Saturday, everybody said how wonderful it was that all of us carnivores were together. And we had several representations from around the country saying, oh, can you bring the meetup to so-and-so, such and such a place? And I said, well, no, not really, because it's going to be sort of probably too big and too much of a logistical challenge to take it all around the country, especially to places which are very hard to get to. And then literally during the afternoon, I started thinking, well, hang on a second. I've got a chap from Dorchester here, and I know that Jonathan Carnivore Muscle comes from Christchurch, just up the road from him. And then we had another lady, I think Sharon from Wimborne, and they're all within 20 miles of each other. So what is to stop those people getting together and organising their own mini meetup? So the three of them getting together, maybe over a barbecue in a restaurant or whatever. Or you can do what myself and Ziggy, the carnivore camper, used to do. And that's we still do. We go for a walk, and basically Ziggy brings a packet of pork scratchings. So that is two carnivores getting together and having a mini meetup and over a packet of pork scratchings and going for a lovely walk. Other people who were there, I think there was a couple in Kent who were keen on having a meetup in Kent. And obviously we've got Lee Copus, the Kent Carnival. So he's just up the road from them. myself and Steph and one of her neighbours who she's yet to meet. So have I actually. But they are neighbours, and we are going over the bridge. It's about an hour away from us, and we're having a mini meetup in Wales in September. So the mini meetup is out there, and Lauren and myself came up with a very good plan, and that's it. On the Friday night before the Great British Meetup at Sourdown, there was a public event there at which Ashley did the hog roast, and we had a really good time. I think about 30 carnivals turned up that night as well, and had a really good time because Ashley served us meat only from the hog roast, and also the new carnivore burger, which is part of his itinerary now. It's part of his menu, and they're very good as well. There's no question about that. But about 3 times a year, Ashley does the public hog roast at Sourdown. Now, Lauren and myself both live exactly 17 miles away from Sourdown, so it's quite easy for us to get to. So we said, well, in that case, when Ashley's doing the hog roast at Sourdown, why don't we have a mini meetup? Myself, my wife Lainey, and Lauren will bring Joe and the family, and it's a mini meetup. And then, of course, who else lives within an hour or so of Sourdown? Because it's not difficult to get there. So yeah, we're basically when Sourdown advertise their public evenings, and when Ashley's doing the hog roast, we'll be banging out on the channels saying, come and join us at Sourdown. And plus the fact that today, I'm not sure if everybody knows, but Lauren lives on a lovely dairy farm. As we've heard, I've actually went and visited back in April. And I made a joke today on one of the WhatsApp groups saying, oh yeah, and of course we'll be having mini meetups at Lauren's house. It's just that she doesn't know it yet. And Lauren's reply was straight away, yeah, you're all welcome anytime. So I thought, okay, fair enough. And she lives on the Wiltshire Somerset border, so there's plenty of scope for people who live live within an hour or an hour and a half of Lauren's house to go there as well. So yeah, the scope for the mini meetups are amazing. And then we've got one excellent chap up in the north of Scotland who came down to visit us from the Highlands, called Billy. I'm not sure if you're on the chat tonight, Billy. But
yeah, Billy emailed me. He was the guy I was telling you about. He had nothing but praise for what we did. So
yeah, and he said to me, he said, how can we do it? I said, well, go back to the Highlands. I said, find some other carnivores up in the Highlands. They put the word out. And I say you're one of the ideal places, not a hog roast, but a venison roast up there, because obviously the red deer up there are famous. So yeah, this is my idea behind the mini meetup. I'd love to hear what people think about it. And, we will continue with the Great British Meetup, but we'd love to hear that other people are getting together. We'd love to see the photographs on Facebook, or if you're YouTubers, and make a YouTube of the mini meetup, just as Ziggy and myself, Ziggy does when we go for a walk. We walk and talk, and a couple of old carnivores putting the world to right and talking bollocks, I think is what she actually describes us as doing. Just go out there and find each other and have a good time. Oh, right. And one more point. Sorry, Carl, are you going to say? You're going to jump in?
Well, I was going to say there's a number of messages coming. I was going to interrupt you there and get Steph to give us a little bit of feedback from the message boards.
Oh, lovely. Right. Okay.
That's all right with you, Steph?
Yeah, we've just got some hellos. So we've got Trevor on. I think that was for you, Tractor Boy.
Yeah, of course.
Paul saying hello to all the happy, sexy people. Carl, who had a great time at the meetup. So you probably met Carl.
Was that Carl who did the video? Was that Carl?
What a brilliant video, Carl. That was absolutely superb. I commented on that on your thing. Because unfortunately, I videoed the whole event. I got 5.5 hours worth of video, and to find out I had a cracked lead, no sound. Someone had knocked my camera, and we managed to film a bedpan for about 4 of the hours. So I didn't think it was really worth trying to do anything with it. So, Carl, you saved the day for me by doing your little bit. And what Steph did as well, I thought was brilliant. Both of them were very good.
And I've got loads more footage that I haven't done anything with yet. And Tim Hort says, wow, Lauren is so beautiful. So true. And then Carl's all up for building the mini events and a mega meetup in Glastonbury. And
I'll tell you what then. There's one thing which I'd be very interested in hearing feedback from. We had a disco on Saturday night. I've got half a mind to switch that to live music next time. Does anybody out there have any thoughts on the live music versus the disco? That would be very interesting to me.
yeah, I think Trevor likes it. And we've got Carnival.
Jonathan. Jonathan's here.
Yeah.
So I think what we're talking about just in general is we call the mega meetups, the big map. We're looking at potentially putting on more than one next year. We're not going to go into too much detail yet because we've got a bit of planning to do. But we may take that to different locations in the UK and then have that supported by a number of mini meetups where, anyone from two, as George points out, 2 people together to a multiple number of people to do the mini meetups, which obviously you sort your own foods out, etc. I think because one of the clear messages that came out for me on Saturday was, and I think George really struck a chord with it, about community. And the amount of people that said to me, yeah, I thought I was here on my own doing this, and I've now realised there's so many more. So the more we can spread it and get smaller groups together in similar areas, it's just going to improve the community even further.
And we've got a few votes for live music. Trevor, Jane, but Jonathan's going alternative. He prefers the disco. Lainey says yes to live music. So that's what we've had so far. 3 live music and 1 is disco.
Right, very good.
Yeah, I suppose we really should ask our dancing queen, Lauren, the dancing queen Tucker over there, because it was her that danced the night away to the disco. Do you think you could dance to it? Do you think you could dance to the Wurzels as well as you can dance to the disco?
Do you know
beat?
what? I absolutely love the Wurzels. If we could get the mangled Wurzels, that would be the best thing ever. But yeah, whether it's live music or disco, I don't care. I just want to dance. So as long as there's music, it's fine by me. I don't care what it is.
Okay, well there we go. So it's the Mangled Wurzels, a very famous local band. Obviously the Wurzels themselves are getting on a bit now, shall we say, to say the very least. Actually, interesting enough, my wife Lainey actually went to school with Pete Budd's daughter, and back along there, Pete was doing a signing in Virgin Records in Taunton, and Lainey ended up sitting on his lap for a photograph, which ended up on page 3 of the Somerset County Gazette, much to her children's utter horror and embarrassment. So there we go. There's a little bit of backstory there, and I can almost hear Lainey exploding in the kitchen in the room next to me now that I've revealed that particular story about her and the Wurzels. So there we go.
What do they do? Talk about the first thing that came up, or
I believe so, because that's I'm not gonna cast aspersions on Peter, but there we go. Pete's a fine man.
Right. So also, if anyone watching has got any questions, please do capital QQQ so it's easy to spot. And then obviously Stephanie can bring in the questions to the table. I'm also interested. We've had some great feedback. Honestly, it's been great feedback. And I think it was a great day. There were things we could have done better, but as a one-off, I think it was a success. If anyone's got what I challenged people was one suggestion, what we could do better. So, because we can take that on board and bring that in. Also, give us your locations where you want to put a mini meetup so other people watching can see if they're there, and we can start conversations, cross-pollinate those sort of conversations, because it's all about getting that community active and going again. Oh, we've got a question. Over to you, Steph.
Right, okay. I was just going to show somebody was in Reading and Berkshire. And yeah, we've got a question. The question is, if you could only eat one meat for the rest of your life, what would it be?
George?
Yeah, lamb steak. Absolutely every time, lamb steak. Lamb has, I'm going to quote Richard Smith here, who is the main speaker. Lamb has 10 times more of the omega-3 vital fatty acid than does beef. Plus the fact I actually prefer the flavour of lamb as well, especially the lamb fat if it's been barbecued, although I eat most of mine raw. So yeah, lamb fat, lamb leg steak or Barnsley chops, lamb basically for the rest of my life.
Lauren?
That's it.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with lamb actually. I love lamb. I love the flavour of lamb. Although I will say that I go through phases of, so I'll be having lamb and I'll have that loads of it, and then I'll go for a phase where, oh, I don't actually want it anymore, and then I'll go on to beef. But I think overall, if I had to choose one that I love the flavour of the most, it's lamb.
Yeah, just to go back to lamb again, Ashley did the catering for us at the meetup, but he also has his own butcher shop, Home Farm Shop at King Weston, to give him a shout out. Lainey and myself got some Barnsley chops from him the other day, and the level of fat on that was amazing. They went on the barbecue on the Sunday, and we are actually going out to Glastonbury again this Saturday, and we will be dropping in to see Ashley before we go, and there will be some more Barnsley chops being bought. And hopefully, if the weather is good on the Sunday afternoon, then we will be having them on the barbecue. By the way, we're going to Glastonbury on Saturday. We're going to probably hang around Glastonbury for a while. Lainey's got a little job to do. But if anybody else is going to be in Glastonbury, we can always go for a quick bite of lunch or whatever. So
I'm going to do my speaker of the house bit here. Order. Stephanie, your favourite meat? If you could only eat one, we're going off track otherwise.
I love beef, and I've really got into minced beef, which sounds very boring, and I can't believe it myself because I used to hate minced beef, but now I do it in a it comes in the squares, and you can cut them in half and flatten them down a bit, put a bit of seasoning on, put them in the air fryer, and then I don't cook them right through, so they're really juicy, and that's how I like it at the moment.
Yeah, I'm a beef person, but one I would consider if I had to eat only one for the rest of my life is vegan, because the more vegans you eat, the more they're gone. So, in all fairness, I did try vegan, but there was no meat on him. So, so I'm leaving the puns there. So, hope that answers your question, Paul. So, there were some other comments I saw. Steph, you've commented on. Do you want to give us a little bit of the comments?
So, Carl, we've got another question, but Carl said the meat was great. They were so surprised by the quality of the burgers. Everything was really tasty. And I can see that Paul has put another question. So we'll just look at that. Tell us your tips on how to cut out alcohol. It's always been something I struggle to get off of. Not that I get drunk every night, but I've drank all my life.
Right. Well, I think, George, probably you're one of the better qualified ones, as you've been a period of time without alcohol. When I interviewed you originally, you were the carnivore that drank alcohol. That's how we first met. So over to you.
Okay, so after 3 years of being on low carb carnivore, well, basically hyper carnivore because it was more than 7%, I lost a lot of fat. I lost a lot of glycogen, and I was suddenly finding that that the amounts of alcohol I used to drink back in the old days, which would make me jolly, just made me extraordinarily drunk very quickly. And after 3 pints of Carling, I was starting to lose my memory and talking nonsense, basically, to use a polite word. And then I took a week off work for the Cheltenham Festival this year, the Cheltenham Festival Racing Festival. Didn't go to it, but I went to various parties and was drinking every day, basically. And I overdid it, and it kind of took away from a lot of the enjoyment of the racing itself, because by the time the last races came, I couldn't remember what the hell was going on anyway. And then on that Sunday, I carried on drinking, and I went back to work on the Monday, went back to work feeling terrible. Looked back on the week, and I hadn't really enjoyed it like I usually do, because alcohol had kind of ruined it. So bizarrely enough, it was Monday, March the 17th, and I thought, I'm done. I thought, I don't need alcohol anymore. I can't do this anymore. And that's it. Since March the 17th of this year, I haven't touched alcohol. I do still drink Peroni Zero, the alcohol-free lager, and it's replacement therapy, I suppose. But no, I haven't touched alcohol since
George, what's your tip then? Because he's asking, what's your tip to come?
Make yourself ill. No, that's not very sensible. But yeah, have a strong why, as we did with carbs. Basically, my strong why was I made myself ill and I regretted it, and I really faced it. I felt that I wasted a week of my life. I never want to do that again. And the great knock-on effect is I've got far more energy. I did drop another half a stone, I suppose 7 pounds or thereabouts. Means Lainey and I can have much more fun now at the weekend because I get to drive places to go out. For example, we're driving out to see Ashley on Saturday, picking up the Barnsley chops. And as I said before, we're going on to Glastonbury afterwards. And we go out a lot of the weekends now. We go for where should we go today? Before it was, all right, let's go to the pub at 12 o'clock. And you couldn't get in the car because you're always intoxicated. You're always over the limit. It's a freedom. It's a liberty that I didn't have before. And of course, you save money as well. So have a strong why.
Okay.
My strong why was I made myself ill, but my strong reason for maintaining is what I've just told you. It's more fun and we have a better time.
Well, yeah. Before I go to the girls to get some tips from them, all I can say is that the last 2 times I've had a drink, one was when Ipswich got promoted last year and I did a whole weekend and I spent the next 3 days suffering for it. That was a good reason to stop drinking because of the gap. And then obviously when Alex Cannon passed away, I did have a brandy that evening to toast him, and I've never had such an upset stomach the next day. So again, that's my deterrent. Now I've had the break, Paul, I find when I do have alcohol, there's consequences that come with it. Ladies, do you have any tips or anything for alcohol, or are you still knocking them back?
Well, I was never really an alcohol drinker anyway. I used to drink in my younger days, but I used to purely drink just to get drunk. I never actually enjoyed alcohol, so it hasn't ever been a problem for me. Telling me that I can't drink is not devastating. So I'm not really the best one to answer that question, only because I'm not somebody who hasn't ever really used alcohol or been addicted to it. Like I said, I only ever used to really use it to get drunk. One thing I will say though is I always, growing up and when I was younger, the reason I used to drink it to get drunk was because if I was out, I wouldn't have had the confidence I would never have been able to get up and dance without having a drink of alcohol. Whereas now, as you saw last Saturday,
yeah, you were pushing kids out the way and all sorts to get to that dance floor. They were thrown everywhere.
I'm just so high on life. I just don't need alcohol to have a good time. I'm always having a good time anyway. And I love that. I just love the fact that I'm just high on life. And lots of times people do say to me, like, I can't believe you can actually go up and do that without having a drink. But it's a lovely way to be, actually. But yeah, I've never, that's the only thing that I can say is I used to use it as a confidence thing, but I feel like I don't really need that anymore.
Okay. Steph, have you got any to add?
Yeah, I did used to like a drink. I used to love a glass of wine. I would always have a glass of wine or a glass of champagne in my hand. It was sort of a running joke. But then as you get older, I just decided the hangovers were lasting longer than the highs. So I just thought, you know what, I'll give it a break. And also going carnivore really helps because I don't know what it is, whether it's the fat that you just feel so satiated, you're no longer on craving the sugar all the time, which obviously alcohol, sugar, so that's part of it. But I think it's with the beef and the fat, what can I say? I don't need it anymore. And so it was easy for me to stop drinking. But can I do some shout outs?
Please do.
People, who are watching, because we got Donna from the WhatsApp group. She wasn't able to come this year, but she'll be at the next one. She likes the idea of the mini meetups, with maybe one big meetup a year with the speakers. So that's a great idea. And also we saw Steve, didn't we? We met Steve at the meetup, and he might be coming he's quite local to us. So he might be coming to the mini meetup that we're having in Wales. So that's brilliant. I turned up with no expectations of what to expect other than being a carnivore. Maybe that's carnivore, because it always does that to you, doesn't it? Yeah. Being a carnivore and needing to be amongst like-minded people. Maybe he's a carnivore as well, we don't know. The event was great, and I loved meeting the people I did. And we've also got Louise is on, your best mate. and she lives in Andover, but near Bournemouth this week on holiday. And then Lainey said, "Oh God, because Carnivore Muscle said that you look young, George." So Lainey's worried now because you're going to be going on about how you're so young and healthy.
Yes, we should point out to Lainey that Carnival Muscle is in fact Jonathan. So
Yeah.
So that's a thing. Yeah, I think Louise is actually down in Bournemouth, or very near Jonathan in Christchurch this week, from what I can gather. So yeah, it's Dorset I think has got potential for a mini meetup. There's no question about that. And if anybody's ever been to the New Forest, then it's excellent sort of like picnicking, camping, and barbecue area. So yeah, it's just massive possibilities really.
And we've got Lash from
Lash, the man from the core staff.
Yeah,
from California. Lash is actually Lash's story is fabulous. He had basically 90% psoriasis all over his body for a long time. He put up with it for years and years, God knows how, and then went carnivore, and now his skin is clear. The Carnivore Healing Retreat is a plan that he has for California. I believe it's he's trying to crowdfund it over in America, and it's a place where carnivores can go and chill and relax and have meetups, basically. So Lash, yeah, it's great to see you, mate. It really is.
Which is ironic, really, because when you use the expression over here, "go out on the lash," that's normally when you're having a few beers.
True, yeah.
Lash is obviously going to change that for us.
Yeah, I think, is that an American term? I'm not sure if it is, to be honest with you.
No, I think
going out
on
on the lash is very much going out on and drinking in the UK.
Yeah, and Cookie's given us a tip on how to give up the beer. I'm not sure that any beer drinkers would say, "Oh yeah, I'm in." Cookie has replaced her beer or his with sparkling water, and it works. No one is more shocked than me. I call it Bonnie beer. Are you in Scotland then? But yeah, and yes, Jonathan Carnivore Muscle has got another good point that the meetups can get quite pricey at the restaurants. So it might be a good idea to set up summer meetup, picnics, barbecues, and in the winter find hosts with enough space. I agree, because you pay an absolute fortune and it's very small.
Classic case of Lauren, because her house is so big that she can host us inside in the winter or outside in the summer. So there we go.
We can easily spark up a barbecue.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Is there any right? Here we go.
Well, Carl and Jane still like a drink, but they've definitely cut back and replaced a great deal with their cases of Pellegrino sparkling water. They're going a bit posh with their sparkling water. Not like me, because I do Lidl's own. Well, the basic brands from Lidl is where I get mine. Oh, Carnival Muscle said the girls. Oh, sorry, Louise. Sorry, this is Louise. Said the girls serving the meat was vegan. So.
Oh yeah, I think he asked the question: was there any vegans or vegetarians turned up? I said I think we would have eaten them if we'd have seen them. So.
Oh, we've got a question. Do you think one day demonizing meat will end, or will the profits of us being ill always stop that? Great question, Paul.
Well, for me, I think RFK in America is going to make such a big difference on the American side. And I think that Britain follow a lot of what America does. So I think that meat is going to be less demonized going forward. Hopefully that will bring the price down when demand goes up as well. But, I think we are on the tip of the iceberg. That's my point of view. Anyone else want to add on that?
Yeah, Woody. I mean, that's the whole point about the why we organise the meetup on Saturday, to bring the UK carnivore community together, because at the end of the day, we need to show a united front. We also basically prove to the world that we're not, well, not just to the world, but to each other, that we are not isolated. Suddenly, people who felt alone and were unable to find community found community on Saturday. They found more people there than they expected, people closer than they expected. We are going to go back. We are going to preach the power of eating meat. It's going to be a question of supply and demand, because the more people that want to eat meat, then the more the the more demand there is, the more supply there will be. I don't know if anybody else has noticed, but beef has gone up quite a lot in this year. I have watched the steaks in Aldi go up considerably from below sort of like £4.20 or something. I think a ribeye is about £5.49 now. That tells me that there's more people out there demanding meat. And I work in the construction industry at the moment, and I see delivery drivers every day, and I see workers. And I've got one very interesting chap actually on site. He might even be on in the chat today. Tim, if you're there, let us know. Tim loves meat. He's a forklift driver, but he still eats vegetables. And I didn't ask him what vegetables are. I said, why do you still eat vegetables? And he said, well, because they're good for you. And he realized then that's what he was saying. And he realized actually that might not be the case, because I told him my backstory. And he said, it was suddenly a light bulb moment. Oh, yeah, I don't really need to eat vegetables, do I? So he's going to go away and think about it. And yeah, definitely a potential carnivore. I met another delivery driver today who is a Welsh ex-rugby player who's 18 stone, now weighs 13 stone, but cannot get rid of type 2 diabetes. So I referred him to Happy Sexy Health, referred him to Stephanie and Nikki, and said, go and get some help from these girls. And I said, what do you eat? He said, well, I eat what my doctor told me to. He said, I eat all the fruit and the veg and that sort of thing. And I said, no, we only eat meat. He said, he said, my doctor must be stupid then. He said it in an ironic way. And I said, yes, he probably is actually. Oh, okay. So anyway, I took his telephone number, got him on WhatsApp, and I sent him some examples of Your and Mine interview, Steph, back in April, the first interview I think we did. And I sent him some of the details of the 21 Reset Challenge. He said, I've tried everything else, George. He said, I'm desperate to try this. I sent him the details for the Reset Challenge on the 14th of this month coming. So hopefully that gentleman will be in contact. Hopefully he will join the Reset Challenge, and hopefully he will get rid of his type 2 diabetes and all the medications that go with it, because he is desperate to do so. So, no, I think that basically meat is going to grow. It will be demonized. I think that idiot who calls himself our prime minister is already trying to ban bacon. There will be a kickback. We will win this eventually. As I said on Saturday, this is not the end, nor is it the beginning of the end, but it may just be the end of the beginning of the carnivore movement. So let's gather pace. Let's get together. Let's join forces with our American friends. Lash, you're in the crowd tonight. Myself, Steph, and Nikki have taken the step of actually going and joining in the Kilts Mighty Tribe. We're unifying the UK community. Let's join forces with the USA and, of course, Australia. The excellent Larry Holt, carnivore pensioner over there in DC, rebuilding. Come on, guys. Let's get together as one world. Let's get meat on the map, and let's get rid of these idiots who would suggest that it should be demonized. Thank you,
Winston. Good enough. Can we get a farmer's point of view, Lauren? Obviously, you've got a dairy farm, etc. I mean, obviously, we've all seen prices of meats go up. What is from the farmers? Because you've had a real tough time under this government. So, do you want to give us your perspective?
Yeah. Well, first of all, I was just going to say that when I first came into this space a couple of years ago, it really did feel like I was the only one. I didn't know anybody. I didn't know anybody eating this way. And you did feel really isolated. As time went on, I met a few more people, and in my head, I was thinking, I actually think carnivore's getting out there a bit more now. And then I thought, well, I don't know if it's actually the case that carnivores is getting out there, or if it's the fact that I'm aware of it and I'm only looking for that. But as time goes on, I actually realise now that it really actually is getting out there, and a lot of people are now aware of it. So I run a food intolerance testing business. I have clients come to my house. Last year, if I was to ever say to them, sometimes I get desperate people come, and I always know the ones who I can bring carnivore up to. Last year, if I'd mentioned carnivore ever to anybody and said, have you heard of the carnivore diet? Most people would say no. Just recently, I've noticed that if I bring the carnivore diet up and I'll say, "Have you heard of the carnivore diet?" 9 out of 10 people all say yes.
Interesting.
So it's not in my head. It definitely is growing, and I think the word's getting out there. And I agree with you, George. Meat is definitely the price is increasing, which therefore means that there is probably a higher demand for it. I've noticed it. I've definitely noticed it myself. But yeah, no, we have had a hard time lately. Everybody demonizes the farmers and it's all our fault. I won't go into it now because that's a whole other I could spend ages on it. But it's always the farmers' fault why it's global warming. It's nothing to do with the aeroplanes and people going on holiday. It's always brought back to the farmer, but the farmer's demonized because we are the ones who are producing the medicine, what we should be eating.
100% agree. And Steve made a real good point about the whole thing about methane, and actually it's a cycle and it's absolute bumpkin with regards to having the impact.
Honestly, it is so far from the truth. It's just, yeah, don't get me started. But it's just funny how the fingers all pointed at us and it's all our fault. Yeah, actually we're the people. Without us, you wouldn't have meat and dairy, you wouldn't have milk and meat. So
well, the other thing, well, just quickly answer that earlier question. Yes, I will be selling Primal Lifestyle shirts. I've got some others designs are getting it done, so I didn't want what's the name to feel that she was being ignored. But back to that point you were saying, I think there is a push to go to ultra processed as always, which means packaging, plastics, processing, waste, and all that. With meat, you eat the meat, and other than the bones, which you make bone broth from, there is no waste. So to me, it's better. When you eat meat, you tend to have 1 or 2 meals a day. So therefore, you're actually, in the longer term, eating less. I'm pretty much OMAD now. Very rarely I have a second meal. In all fairness, it was my birthday on Tuesday. I went to a Brazilian restaurant. I didn't eat at all the Monday or the Tuesday. Admittedly, I did do 24 rounds of servings, but that was... I think they regretted charging me 26 quid for the meal because I think I had about £90 worth of meat, but that's another story. But you're right. There is a push against meat when actually, if you think about it, I think that the stats say that a human would eat potentially 1 cow in a year, ballpark, as measurement by the amount of meat, so it's one animal technically suffers, as the vegans would call it, where their bloody shitty whatever it is they do wipes out all the wild animals and all that. So it's got nothing to do with animal welfare, but I do think there's an agenda against meat, and it's down to us to keep pushing, build up the demand for it to make it sustainable for you farmers. I'll get off my high horse now, or otherwise I'll eat that as well.
Well, there's been loads of comments while you've been talking about the price. No, it was good. About the price of food. Carl said, yes, beef has gone up at Asda. Our 2018 mince was $2.59 6 months ago, then $2.79 9 months ago, and now $2.99. At first, I thought it was my increased buying that was driving up the price there, probably. And somebody else said that as well. And Tertia asked about the T-shirts. And remember, we met her at the meetup.
She was more interested where Donald was.
Oh yeah, the dog.
Yeah.
And Melted Wheelie Ben, hello. I had lunch with him.
Melted Wheelie Ben, I think it's called Dan, if I remember rightly.
Don't spoil the illusion. I love that name. That is the best name on YouTube.
I love that he's got the photo as his YouTube icon. And Lainey's pointed out about the weight loss injections. There's lots of people spending a lot of money on
very true.
Loss. And let's have another question then from Paul. He's giving us all our questions tonight. Have you noticed any unusual benefits? Some people claim no earwax, better eyesight, hair color coming back, etc.
Ladies, would one of you like to lead with that one?
Go on, you go, Lauren.
I'll just say one thing that I didn't even think of, and somebody brought it to my attention. I always used to do a crossword every single day. I don't do them anymore, but I used to do them. in a magazine, and this was about a year ago now. And I said to my mother-in-law one day, I said, God, I said, these crosswords are getting so easy. I said, I never used to be able to complete them. I said, but every single day now I can just do them and just complete it. I said, they've obviously got really easy. And she turned around and she said, how do you know if they've got easier or if you've got better? And I thought, I wonder if that is a side effect that I'm just like my brain's kind of on fire. Anyway, I had this discussion when I met Kerry in December, Kerry and Adam for the Healing Humanity filming. And I brought this up to them and they said exactly the same thing. They said that in America, I can't remember what it's called now, they have a game show. And Kerry said the same thing. He said that he was always, if he was playing along with it, he was always not very good. And he said all of a sudden on this game show, he could just answer all of the questions. And he was just like, where's that come from? So I do wonder if that is a weird benefit that I've noticed. So maybe they did get easier, I don't know, but maybe I did get better.
Steph, have you had any?
Have I had any weird ones? I can't think of any weird ones, but I do focus better, especially recently. I did have more energy, but these are ones that everybody says. So I'm going to hand it over to you, Carl, because I know you've got some interesting ones.
Well, I've got the best one for me was I used to have between size 14 and 15 feet. Had to get most of my shoes made at quite expensive or go to the big and small shop to get any shoes and could buy Henry Munster's shoes, the only fashionable ones I could get. My feet now shrunk 2 shoe sizes. I can now buy commercial stylish shoes, so it's actually saved me money with my feet shrinking. So that's my weird one. George, you got any?
Yeah, I knew you were going to use that one, Carl. Mine's the same. I was hoping you were going to use the one about the fact that you can't roll out of bed in the mornings nowadays. So that would actually leave me.
Yeah.
Are we after the watershed? No, yeah, but yeah, that's the other one. I wake much earlier, and when I say I'm awake, that's me and little Carly.
Absolutely, yeah. Well, as most people know that, I'm an ex-soldier, so I'm used to standing to attention in the mornings. But anyway, we'll leave it at there, shall we? Mine is also the 2 shoe sizes. I think Carl's from 14 to 12, I was 13 to 11. But the one I'm going to actually pick on is the fact the lack of sleep. People call it insomnia. The fact that I sleep only 5 hours a night now. And I don't nap during the day because I need all my energy anyway, because I've got so many things going on in the carnival world at the moment that I can't afford to sleep more than 5 hours a day. But I don't get tired during the day. I don't need the 7 or 8 hours sleep that we're told that we had to have. Just like we're told we have to eat carbs, we're told we have to have 7 to 8 hours sleep. One qualifying point. I was so exhausted after this weekend and after the build-up to it that on Monday night this week, I went to bed at 8 o'clock in the evening and slept right through till 5. So I did actually get the full 9 hours sleep. But that was because I was utterly on my chin strap, as we would have said in the army, and I was utterly exhausted. So I needed it. But since then, I'm back to the 5 hours a night. I'm doing this in the evenings. Steph and I had a 2.5 hour lesson last night from Doctors Nelson and Dr. Hampton gave us a lesson last night as well. And
yes, he did.
Steph was looking rather seductive last night, and she invented a question which she hadn't even planned, just so she could get herself noticed by good old Dr. Hampton. So yeah, what I'm saying is basically Steph fancies Dr. Hampton. Sorry, go on, Steph.
I wasn't going to put it like that. He had a very interesting lecture, and just because he's got a very nice voice and he's quite easy on the eye, although he did bring up that he liked my accent, so I could be with a chance there. But unfortunately, he then mentioned that he was quite happy with his wife of 32 years or something along those lines. So.
Unfortunately.
It's like what's that? That's that police song. The "Don't Stand So Close to Me." Young teacher, the subject to schoolgirl fantasy. Well, the schoolgirl's in her 30s, so there we go.
I did see
A 30, Steph, by the way.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for that. I did notice. Yeah, thanks.
I did see a question about the mini meetup somewhere just flashed past. Did you see that at all, Steph? From DNA
Yeah.
or someone?
Yes, that's right. That's right. That's right. Let me just go into my stars
That's Tiger
messages.
Feet. Oh, sorry,
Yeah,
I thought you were saying there was
There's so
something.
many. So there you go. Mini meetups. Is anyone in this community near Reading in Berkshire area would be very interested in a mini meetup? Kev / Webby, thanks.
Okay, good. That's what we want. We want people putting it out there, so that's perfect.
So just comment below if you're near Kev / Webby and you want.
Yeah, I mean Reading's on the M4 corridor, and when you've got the M4 M5 corridor, it makes life a lot easier to get to. So it's quite possible there's people, along the M4 corridor there in London as well, of course, because Reading's only 20 miles outside of London. Reading is actually I'd say it's quite a good base, really.
And then the chat is about, is it affordable? Because the chat earlier was meat has gone up, but I still find that my bills are down. And Steve has said meat can be affordable if you look around. I spent £50 for 6 kilograms of rump from a meat lorry park in B&M car park. Wow. Didn't know
Wow.
That's
I
£185.
I think it's like for people that are worried about the cost of it or are struggling to afford it. I think that was Ken Berry who said that. But I just think even if you're buying the cheapest cuts or the cheapest meat, you're still doing better than 90% of the people out there. Like even if you have to buy the cheapest meat, I think still go ahead and do it, and you will still improve your health. I think that there's still a benefit there.
Oh, absolutely.
There was a guy at the meetup that was taking names and details of carnivals to do a cooperative buy. Now that's something.
Yeah.
If carnivals get together, that's a way to do it, because for me, I'm fortunate. I tend to go and buy a 3 or 5 kilo ribeye and cut it up because I'm able to do that. That's not easy for everybody. I also go to Aldi and buy nearly every pack of 25% fat mince there, and they all think I'm some sort of loon. So you can do it. But I do think if we get together as a community in areas and we do bulk buying together, you get the economies of scale. So that's another thing that we could do with these mini meetups. We could start building that community and doing multi-buys together.
That's true.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Louise has asked quite a fun question. Will there eventually be a carnivore dating group? I'm the only one here who would be interested in that.
I think there's a gap in the market there.
There's too many innuendos coming here. I've got to behave.
I think there will be, because as Lauren pointed out in one of the groups the other day, is why all carnivore is so flirty. And as I pointed out, we don't get the term carnal knowledge from the root vegan, do we? Because carnal means meat, and well, we know what carnal knowledge is.
But that's where the vegan grew from the what was the church called that they
the Seventh-day Adventists.
Yeah, and Kellogg family were involved in that because they felt that meat made men bad, as in little Carly waking up and saying hi everybody. And that's why they pushed the vegan diet to take away the meat. So in all fairness, it's probably an app would be very successful in the carnivore community.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, Kellogg's cornflakes are actually designed by John Harvey Kellogg, in order to make people ill so that they would not feel the need to procreate, which is obviously the basic human urge. So yeah, the Kellogg's cornflakes are not health foods. They are designed to damage your hormones. And so get off the cornflakes, folks. If anybody's here is a non-carnivore, swap it out for bacon and eggs, and then you'll feel a lot better, and you'll feel a lot better about life in the morning and that sort of thing. And you'll be a lot more ready to join a carnivore dating group, shall we say?
Yeah, so definitely. There's been quite a few. There are some Facebook groups, and as we were saying the other day, meat is sexy. So broccoli's not the same. Yes, somebody's Carl's just saying he loved that there was somebody taking the names. And
yeah, just to give you the name of that chap, it was John, and he was from Plymouth. That's all I know about him, but I can tell it was John from Plymouth. So there we go.
yeah.
I think I referred to him to the man Del Monte in his white hat, didn't I?
Yes. Forgot about him. But yeah, it definitely had that. We have had another. No, I thought we did.
Very good, Carl. Very good.
Yeah, good.
That's the
one,
other
Carl.
thing I did notice in the carnival
Yeah,
world. If the meetup is a snapshot in the carnival world, if you've got the name Carl, you're definitely a carnival, because there was more Carls at the meetup than any other name.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
they've
again,
all got
actually, that is carnal.
carnival dictation.
Carl now, and take away the NA, and you got Carl. So yeah, it is a bit of Carl knowledge going on there.
All
Like
the
just
Carls.
pissy Mrs. Carl.
All the cars are on fire tonight. Carnivore. Oh, they're good, aren't they?
I'm pinching that. I'm using that in one of my posts. I'm going to pinch that. Thank you, Carl. I'm going to steal that off you.
Yeah. No, it's good.
I like it. I like one above as well. Carnivornication. That's quite a. That's another one for Carl on his stand-up routine.
I'm actually, I'm not doing Edinburgh this year, but I might do Edinburgh next year, and I might do a carnival set, purely to try and find some vegans in the audience and have a bit of banter with them. So this is all material for me, because that's the other thing is obviously Lauren's husband said to Lauren apparently that I should take up stand-up because I'm quite witty. I thought it was funny because I've not been doing it 13 years. So
Paul's got another great question. Paul's on fire tonight as well. He's come up with
questions tonight.
all of the questions. How do you cope with friends and loved ones with poor health, not believing carnivore would help them? Do you find it frustrating?
Can I just go in with this one? 2 nights ago, I was on Facebook, and my own sister, my younger sister, she's 4 years younger than me, had put on a post on her Facebook saying, "Is there anybody who could tell me where are the best places to get the slimming injections?" And I was just like, really, like, come on. Or everything that she's always struggled with weight, and I've tried to be supported in everything that I've told her. It's just like they just can't see it, and I'm just like, why would you choose to go on slimming injections when, like, you've got help right here? I can help you. But I don't know. I saw that, and I just thought you get to the point where you've done what you can do, and you can't do any more, unfortunately.
Yeah, I totally agree. You can't, I've demonstrated the miracles happen for me. Some people have accepted it. Very few of my friends and family have actually gone carnivore themselves. There's nothing you can do. As Lauren says, you're far better off concentrating on those people who come to you who you don't necessarily know, such as the lorry drivers, the truck driver I had today, who came to me as a type 2 diabetic, and I've referred him to Steph and Nikki, and he's going to go and find them. Yeah, we seem to get a lot more respect from strangers. Now, interesting, I'm not really a religious guy, but I do know that in the Bible, Jesus went and preached in Nazareth, his hometown, and they kicked him out. Why? Because he was only Joseph the carpenter's son. So how could Joseph the carpenter's son possibly be some sort of prophet who knows what he's talking about? So maybe there is an element of that. These people have known us all our lives. We've been normal people. Well, some of us have been normal. And then suddenly we get it right, and suddenly we start talking about it, and we start talking evangelically. So maybe they can't make that jump between the what we were before and what we have become. Whereas we meet people hello, where's Lauren gone? But we meet strangers, and they kind of don't know our history. They didn't know us before, so they don't judge us on what we were like before. Does that make any sense to anybody?
Yeah, I kind of get what you're saying, George. See, for me, I think we lead by example. I've now got 3 nephews and a niece. One of my brothers is full carnivore. They've all kind of followed suit. And now I've got friends of them coming to me and I'm advising them or giving them tips and using me as an example. So I just think if we as carnivores lead as an example and show, I mean, my health turnaround, I was showing people on Sunday, there's a photo of me and my late mum. And I think I didn't realize at the time, but it's probably the most powerful picture that I have. I'll just quickly flash it up now. And it really sums up what I show people. So hopefully it will come through on the camera. This is a picture of me with my late mum. If you look at the necklace, that's the same necklace. And look, it's cutting into my throat.
Oh my gosh.
And now look at it now. So that is how I lead. And it's the same necklace, same chain, everything. That's how big I got. So
that's crazy, that is.
So people have seen that, asked me what's going on, and then that's when I lead in. Because you can't, if you try and lecture to them, they're not interested. They just shut off and they use all the usual. But for me, Paul, it's about leading by example.
Yeah, I agree. Oh, Lauren's dropped off. Hopefully she'll come back.
I think her pants are on fire.
We've had that before, haven't we?
Or on hot pants. Yeah, absolutely.
I find exactly what you said, Carl. Lead by example. So, or when people have got an issue. So my mum had that issue with her eyes. Previous to that, I hadn't said anything to her because I was quite vocal when I went vegan. So I thought, you know what, I'm not saying anything. I'm not saying anything when I tried this. But when she was having the issue with glaucoma and pre-diabetes, and she needed to have her eyes lasered, and the doctor said, oh, it'll just get worse and you'll just have to wait and see if it gets worse. I thought, do you know what, now's a good time for you to make a change. So she was all up for it because she didn't want to go blind, and other members of her family have gone blind. But then my son, Alex, who's an adult, just in case people think he's a little kid, he just was like teasing me at first. It was just me, that it's a cult and all that. And he did mention, you know, remember when you said that about veganism? And so I just left it, you know, and over time, he's now come. And as you said, George, we do these 21-day resets where we help people get started with this way of eating. And he came on a reset. So it's good to see it where people turn around. You just leave them in their own time to come around to it.
See, I've got the book. I was just looking across there, Forks Over Knives. Remember the documentary? Well, I saw this on social media today. That was the 2 people on at the beginning, and that's them now. That's what vegan does to you.
Yes.
Now, can you tell me that's healthy?
No.
I'm not bashing vegans because I'd rather people went vegan than had ultra-processed foods because that's the worst of the worst. But I think that a lot of vegans will switch to carnivore. I've not heard of carnivores switching to vegan.
No. And they're eating from the inside out. They're eating themselves. They can't get the nutrients.
Yeah.
Their bodies are eating themselves. The bones are eating themselves. And that's why they look hollow and it's awful. Welcome back, Lauren.
Oh, she made it back.
Yeah, she fell off. Sorry, Louise says, just keep leading by example is the only way. You can't make anyone change unless they want to. Been doing this for many years, and that's the most powerful way. Do not let others frustrate you. And we're now at 8:29, guys. I don't know how long you were wanting.
This isn't Sunday school, Steph. The school bell's not going to go. We can go on as long as we got material. But if we haven't got material, then we'll see. Carl's Carl's calling it, so it's up to him. He's the MC.
Well, I'm happy to keep going for a bit if everyone else is, because I think it's productive. I see Donna's put a question about. See, the thing is with the meetup, we have got. I know where tickets were bought, what areas they were bought. And amazingly, it was quite spread around the UK. But because of GDPR, I can't share that information. All I can do is send out perhaps what we need to do is perhaps I set up a landing page or something where people can post a location and then. Sorry, George. Yes, far away.
Yeah. There's something which I think was Tina, our friend Tina, who actually lives in Spain now, brought up. She was there on Saturday. And we have the conference badges with our name tags upon them. I've got mine here somewhere, which I can't find, of course, when I want it. The name badges like this is not the one I had, but we had our names on them. And Tina suggested that we put the county from where we come
Great
from.
idea.
So, for example, I would be George Somerset, and Lauren would be Lauren Somerset. Steph would be, don't know, would you call yourself Wales or Gwent over in Newport?
Yeah.
Would anybody know where Gwent is? I don't know.
Yeah. I just put Newport.
Okay.
No, but that's a good idea, actually. That's a very good idea. That's something. There you go. That's something we can take to go forward with on that.
Yeah. So thanks to Tina for that one. That was brilliant.
Changing the subject slightly, I would just be interested to know if there's anyone listening who is going to the Phil Escott's Ancestral Health in next weekend, actually, not this weekend, next weekend. He has a little, I think it's called Ancestral Health Festival. But just out of interest, I just wondered how many people will be going to that.
I would have gone, but I've just been. I know you can go to both. You can go to both, but I feel I've got a lot of answers.
I watched Phil advertise it. He's got a lot more high profile speakers, I think, than we had. He's got Dr. Sarah Pugh, which is one which I caught quite a lot.
That can't be possible. That can't be possible, George.
Well, no, wrong. Sorry, he hasn't got more high profile speakers than us. He's got more speakers than us. You can't get any more high profile than Stephen and Richard. It's perfectly true. We did ourselves. But no, he's got a lot more people with letters in front of their names than we did. So, like profs, and I think he's got Dr. David Unwin going as well. Yeah, well, I'm perfectly happy to big up Phil's Ancestral Festival for him because I think it's a very admirable thing. I can tell you it's a 2-day event, and forgive me, Phil, if I get this wrong, but I believe it's £70 per day or £120 for the 2 days. And it's at a pub, the Rainford Junction, I think it's called. And Phil will himself be playing on the Saturday night in the Daz Band. Yeah, considering I'm not going, I actually know quite a lot about it, don't I? So there we go.
And is that including food?
I don't believe so. Let me not diss Phil there. I'm not sure. I don't know. I'm not sure, but I don't think they've got a formal food service like we had. I did hear mention they were going to be chucking some stuff on the barbie, and that the pub they were based at would serve them decent steaks and that sort of thing. But I don't think they had quite the same setup as the way they have. Same setup as us. So I'm not 100% sure. But yeah, due respect to Phil, he's a man I admire greatly. He's part of Richard and Stephen's sort of gang. Richard, Stephen, Phil, and Lee often do a four-person panel show, a bit like us doing it tonight. So shout out to Phil and the Ancestral Festival, Health Festival.
Any more comments, Steph?
Yeah, Carl is saying that his wife Jane makes amazing carnivore cupcakes. Woo! And carnivore ice cream. I haven't had a carnivore cupcake, so quite excited about that.
I did see today, I think it was Colin, did carnivore bread. And it looked just like bread.
Again, we have the originator in the audience. Like that is Louise's recipe. Right. The carnivoress, the strong carnivoress. So yeah.
Louise, please publish it because I'm interested in trying. I believe it's corned beef, cream, and eggs. If I'm right,
it's been repeated about 1 million times on our WhatsApp group. Carl,
Yeah, that's the only problem.
I think Lainey was asking for it as well. I'll get Lainey to forward it to you.
Right, guys. I'm gonna add this. I do have to drop off, but it will still carry on. Okay.
Okay.
So I'll...
Well, let's do this as the last question, then we can wrap up.
We'll all leave together.
Yeah. Right.
If you could make any normal food that you used to eat into carnivore, what would you choose? And that's another one from Paul.
Spaghetti bolognese.
Well, I'm a good Catholic boy, so I always had fish and chips on a Friday. So if I could have a version of the fish, but get around the chips issue somehow, that would be the one I'd probably want to change. Lauren?
Chocolate for me all day long. Carnivore chocolate would be bloody lovely.
Yeah.
Steph?
I think I'll just stick with the ice cream. Yeah.
Dr. Kiltz's one.
Yeah, Dr. Kiltz's one. Yeah.
Really right. Nice. Well, I think that's a great thing to finish on. So let's wrap up. Thank you, everyone, for attending. Still post any comments you want because we can still see them after the event. Just like to thank the panel, George, Lauren, and Steph. Thank you very much for what you've done and what you contributed. And let's keep this going. Up the community. And eat a vegan.
It's been fantastic. It's been great seeing you all in the comments. It just felt like being back there again, having a laugh.
Didn't it? Yeah, all the names. It was great. It was great to see Lash from America as well. It's just wonderful. Absolutely wonderful.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks, guys.
Bye, everybody.